The Starling. I live in a building with some people. My nest is in a corner under the eaves against the wall. I know this place very well because I come here every year to have my children. It is quite safe as it overlooks a courtyard which only birds have access to. And I'm not afraid if I sometimes need to leave my little ones alone. This year, when I reached the nest with my partner to lay the first eggs of the season, I noticed that there were men at the windows opposite the wall. At first I was worried about settling there because it was the first time I had seen people behind those windows, and they were so near I didn't feel safe. Looking around me, I realized that there had been a few changes since last year. There was a kind of mechanical eye in the wall opposite the windows, which I later heard people calling the Inquisitor. There was also barbed wire all around the walls of the courtyard, and they had another row of bars onto the windows where the men, 6 of them, were housed. I saw metal plates the same color as the bars between the windows, and my partner pointed out the enormous spotlights positioned in every corner of the yard. While I was looking at all this, I heard people speaking loudly, and after observing them closely, I noticed something that indicated we could nest there safely like every other year. The people inside could put no more than their hands through the bars. The yard was still inhabited by the usual birds, sparrows, seagulls, and of course ourselves, the starlings. So everything carried on like the years before, and after sitting on the eggs, I had 2 little ones. Just when the people arrived, something happened. If it hadn't happened, I wouldn't have this story to tell, because as soon as the little ones are born, it is usually a race against time to find food. That means that my partner and I are flying from one place to another from dawn till dusk to find food for our insatiable creatures. But it was different this time. Twice a day the people threw all kinds of food out of the windows, especially meat and fruit. The gulls fought for the meat, shrieking and fighting, but they always left something behind. We were the only ones that ate the fruit. My companion kept the other starlings at bay while I fed the children. We had to defend such an abundant patch. My days were more relaxed thanks to these people. I could afford to stay in my nest with nothing to do but watch over my little ones, singing or cleaning my feathers. I wasn't normally interested in what the people at the windows said or did, but having more free time, I paid more attention and spent entire afternoons watching and listening. I must say that what they were saying was very interesting. The people called each other by different names, and over time I got to know who was who. They also had big numbers painted on the window. Number 2 was Barrow, number 4 was Juan, but they also called him Juanito, Redondo, Pepinillo, and Burbojo. Number 6 was Juanjo, and they called him Garcia, or Doctor. Number 8 was Carlos, or Esteve, or Carlitos, or Simpson. 10 was Jose, Tario, Shea, or Norman. And 12 was Pedro, Vasquez, or Consonado. In order not to get confused, I identified each of them by the number on their window. They didn't seem to have much to do given that they stood at the window for hours, talking, laughing, and shouting. I didn't normally pay much attention to their chatter, but sometimes they told stories that fascinated me. One afternoon, while they were all chattering and explaining to one another why they were there, number 4 proposed that they each tell the story of their latest escape, one by one. That was how I came to know about some of their prodigious adventures, which I'm going to relate here in turn, just as I heard them.